Hello, fellow Sudokans, and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku Puzzle. It's Monday, the 14th of November, 2022, and I hope you are keeping very well. I said hello, Sudokan, and you might be new here and wondering what a Sudokan is. Well, it's you. Congratulations. You are now officially a Sudokan. You can get your Sudokan passport at the gate. It means that you have at least tried to play the game, or you're about to try to play the game, and don't be afraid to do it. Now remember, this is a practical game, so I give you some videos on this channel of how to play the game, but it's your job to go off and try it and have fun. I promise you, it's a wonderful game. You will love it once you start playing. It's a fun thing to do. You might be saying, how is it fun? What is it you have to do? It's something like a jigsaw using logic as opposed to just your eyes. Well, I suppose in a jigsaw you use some logic as well, although this is rather different kind of logic probably. It's nothing to do with maths, and if you've never played the game before, and as many as you, this is a beginner video, of course, you'll notice on this channel there is a playlist of beginner or easy videos. In fact, at the end of this video, you should see like a thing you can click on, which will take you to the playlist of beginner or easy videos. I always link to the original newspaper because they are the owners of the copyright and they are the people who are supplying it. So when you visit them, you are clicking clicking on their advertising. But that's about it. Apart from that, nothing else to say, I guess, right? Except, I really encourage you to try these games out and then just watch the video. Now, I'm going to show you how we find the solution to this. And as I say, there are plenty of other easy level games on the channel. By the way, this channel is not only about Sudoku. That's why it has such a weird and ridiculously long title, because I often chat about life, and I live in Bangkok, although I am, in fact, a Londoner by birth and grew up in London, but now I've actually lived more time in Thailand than I have in London, and that's because I'm an old man now. Okay, let's get on with it. So how do we go about finding numbers? Look, okay, we have to, what is the game? Well, at the top here, we have, look, a pristine row of 9 squares with no digits in, but down here we have a row that has a lot of digits already, 9, 7, 3, 4, and 8, all in the same row. But our object is to place digits 1 to 9 in each of the squares. Now there are 9 squares. That means we start with the digit 1 and we finish with digit 9. And we do exactly the same thing for these columns, right? And so again, it's numbers 1 to 9. This has 2 digits already placed. So we're looking for the other 7 numbers that we can fit there. And there's one more thing though. There's one more thing, like Steve Jobs used to say. There are 9 squares in these small blocks here, and you need to fit numbers 1 to 9 in each of those. So, we say, how on earth do I go about it? Should I guess? No, you never guess in Sudoku. Hold on a second. I'm actually on very limited time today. I've got to work in a very short period of time, so I'm actually eating breakfast and drinking my tea at the same time. So hold on a second while I have a mouthful of tea. I'm just trying a sweetener for the first time in my life. I've never used an artificial sweetener before, but my waistline has been expanding since COVID took over. Took over the country, and I had to sit around using the computer rather than being out and walking and stuff. So I've decided it's time to try an artificial sweetener. It's kind of okay, I guess. Right, we have ones blocking across like this. What do I say? Blocking. Blocking? What do you mean, you ask? Well, what I mean is 1 appears in this row already, so cannot appear anywhere else in this row, right? A number can appear once in its row only. So if I extend this one left and right, you'll see that we have a lot of blue squares, and because we have this 1 already, 1 cannot appear in any of the other squares. Now we do the same thing down here. Look, we can see that 1 blocks across here like this. So when we take these 2 rows together, and we block across like this. This block here, which doesn't yet have a 1, it has 6, 8, 5, 9, and 7, has 1 empty square. And so we can place our digit 1 there. And that's how we go about finding the numbers. We use logic like that across the board in very similar ways. And we will come to the answer. So let's do the same thing with this 7. We can see 7 blocking across here and 7 blocking up this column this time. Excuse me, more tea. While you digest that, I'll digest this. And so you can see there is just one empty square in this middle block here where we can place a 7 because of this 7 and that 7 there. Oh, right, we're doing very well now, aren't we? So are you looking around the board looking for answers? I mean, that's what you should be doing. You should already be looking and searching to see if you can get there ahead of me. And you might be able to. It's certainly not impossible. Well, since it's your first day at Sudoku, I don't want to tell you any kind of special tricks just yet. I'd much prefer to do the easiest possible things. So even though I can see some things, they're a bit more advanced, and I don't want to tell you those just yet. Come back to a medium level game, right? We have 6s blocking down and 6s blocking up here. So that's going to put a 6 into that square there. I realize people can get a bit confused and put off if they fail. Oh, by the way, you will fail at Sudoku. If you meet someone and they tell you that they never ever make a mistake when playing Sudoku, I would question the veracity of that sentence, because I have never met anybody in the whole world who manages to play Sudoku without ever making a mistake. So be prepared. You will make a mistake sometimes. You'll fill in the wrong number. You'll see things that are not there, etc., etc. But don't be disheartened, okay? Because just start again. It usually is a good idea. Now, look, I'm looking at digit 3. So we have a 3 here, oops, blocking across, and a 3 here, blocking across, and a 3 blocking up here. So I know in this block, remember, we have to check and see that we don't already have one. We don't already have a 3 here. So we can place our 3 there. More tea, hold on. Now we've already placed this 3 here, so now we can get something that we couldn't get before. Before we placed that 3, it was not possible to place an 8 in this block, but now it is, because we have the 8 blocking across here, and we have the 8 blocking down here. So now we have this single square where we can place an 8. But a moment ago, before we placed that 3, we would have had 2 possible locations, and so we couldn't have said where the 8 goes, but now we know for sure it goes there. And now we've placed that, that's going to help us. Oh, I'm not sure about that artificial sweetener. It's got a bit of a weird taste in the mouth afterwards. 8 blocks down here and 8 blocks across these bottom 2 rows. That's going to give us an 8 there. Also with the 8s, I can see 8 blocking across here, and up here. That's going to put an 8 into that square. You really getting the hang of it now? Good. I promise you, it is a really fun game. You know, people could say fun. What could be fun? But really, once you get into it and you see, and sometimes it's really beautiful. That sounds odd, doesn't it, to see beauty in logic? But I promise you, you will see it at one point if you play it often enough. We have 1 blocking up here. That's going to give us a 1 here. Now, look, in this block here, we have every number except for 1. So all we have to do is find the missing number. And when we look through, we find we don't have digit 2. We've got 1, we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we don't have 2. And so we know that the 2 must fit into that square there. Got it? Good. Now, should I show you something a bit trickier or not? Yeah, maybe. Okay. I want to show you that how Sudokans think forward a bit, because it's not just exactly what we're doing now. Sometimes we need to think forward a bit. Now, I think I can show you this. It's not too tricky for you to understand. I just hope that I've got the time to do it, though, because I should really be getting on with this game. Anyway. When you see the 2s like this, so we can extend along like this, right? Okay. And what are we left with here? We're left with 2 white squares here. 2 white squares. Now, do we know which one the 2 appears in? Do we know if it appears here or here? Answer, no, we don't. But we know that it appears in those 2 squares. It can't appear anywhere else. Only those, exclusively those squares. Now, I want to look at the 6s. Now, let's see. This 6 blocks across here and this 6 blocks across here. And guess what? In those 2 empty squares, we must also place a 6, right? There's no 6 available in this block yet. And 6s can't go up here or here. So what do we now know? We now know that this square and this square must contain 2 and 6. Now, I can tell you, because there are only 2 numbers missing and 2 squares, no other number can go in there. This can't be filled in by a 1, for example. We can't have a 1 here or a 4 or anything else. Only 2 and 6 can appear in these two squares. Right, now what are we going to do? We're going to consider this whole row again. Now we know that 2 and 6 are here. We don't know which is which, but we do know that 2 and 6 are in these two squares. So now there's just one empty square because we know that these two squares contain 2 and 6. So when we look across, we've got, let's do it like this. 1, 2 is one of those. 3, 4. Do we see a 5? No. 6, well, we know 6 is in one of those two squares. 7, 8, 9. And so we know, in fact, it was the 5 that has to go there because this is 2 and 6. Wasn't that nice? Okay, so now you're seeing some of the things that we see, but actually we see a lot more than that. When you start to play at an advanced level, you're going to find a lot more than that. Many techniques that are really interesting and will sometimes make you go, oh, wow. Okay, we have 7 blocking across the bottom row here and 7 blocking down here. So in this block here, we have 7. Now, there's only 1 digit missing from here, from this column. I'll give you a chance to look for it, but don't take too long because I'm really in a hurry this morning. I'll have some tea. You look. Ugh, I'm not sure about that sweetener. Right, have you found it? Oh, what was it? Oh, 4. Well done. Thank you very much. You're right. It was indeed a 4. So we've come quite a long way. You can see quite a few blue digits. The black ones are the ones that we started with. The blue digits are the ones that we are placing. What else do we need to do? And if you are new to the channel, you should note that I have no idea of the actual answer to these puzzles, any of them on this channel. I always play the game live. I never practice ahead of time. And so sometimes it takes me a little while to find the answer as well because I'm playing the game live and I honestly don't know the actual answer. So you have to bear with me sometimes for a while I also try to find out the missing digits. Okay, oh, nope. Can't do that. I thought I'd seen something. All right, so actually, I'm not clear of the way forward. So if you're playing the game on a computer, a good thing you can do is to highlight the numbers like this. If you click on one number, you'll see that every other number that's placed will appear, especially if you're playing on SudokuExchange.com, which is, there's a link to that in the description. It's one I recommend. It's pretty good, really. So I'm just going to go through the numbers one by one and see if I can see. Oh, yes. So as soon as I do that, I can see. Because I see this 1 down here blocking up here, and that's going to give me an empty square here. So I can see that the 1 goes there. By the way, I do actually recommend playing them on printing out the Guardian puzzles and playing them on paper to begin with. If you've never played Sudoku before, it is the most satisfying. I clicked a 9 there. Why did I do that? Because we have every other digit already placed, and so we know it has to be a 9. Now we're going to take that 9 across here, 9 across here, and 9 down here. What's the time? I've got to start work very soon, so should hurry things along a little bit. We have a 9 there. Now we have 9 that's blocking down these 2 columns as well. The 9 we just placed helps us out, and now we have just a single space to place the 9 there. We have 7 blocking down here like this. You see how before we couldn't have got these numbers, but now we can. Now we've placed this 7. We know that this can't be 7 over here. And we know that the 7 must go there. So as we go through the game, we're continuously placing digits that we and narrowing down our options. Now there's just one empty square in this row. So we know we can get it. If there's only one number missing, we must be able to get it, right? And the missing number is 5. If we look along, we'll find we don't have a 5 in this row here. So I know that must be a 5. And again, you'll see 5 highlighted. So now all 5s are highlighted, and that can help you. So 5 blocks down here and 5 blocks across here. And we know that the 5 has to go in that square. Then this 5 we take along here, and that gives us just one square up there where the 5 can go. Now, if you see 2 numbers missing like this, it's always good to check out and see what they are, because you might be able to get them. But even if you can't get them, it might help you in other ways. So let's see what's missing here. Actually, what we don't have is 2 and 6. We need 2 and 6 to complete this whole set of 9. And when we look up here, we look for 2 and 6 in these columns, and we don't find 2 or 6 that affects here. We look down here, we don't know if it's 2 or 6. We look down here, we don't know if it's 2 or 6. But we do know that 2 and 6 are in these two squares. Now, hey, look, there's an empty square along here, and we must be able to get it because we know that these two squares can only contain 2 or 6. And when we look across here, we're going to find that this is a 4 because that's what we don't yet have. 1, 2, remember, in one of these two squares. 3, we don't have 4. 5, 6, remember, in one of these two squares here. 7, 8, 9. Got it? So this is our 4. Right, let's see what else we need. Like I say, when you see two numbers missing in a one of these small blocks or in a row or in a column, you should always check out what they are. So I'll check out what they are. They are in fact 2 and 3, but we can't do anything about this. We have no idea at this stage. There's no way of knowing whether this is a 2 or a 3, and which one is which. We don't have anything across here or anything up here that can tell us that information just yet. So we have to come back to it at a later time. Okay, that's all we can do. I see 2 numbers are missing from this column. I should check out what they are because that's what I said you should do. And when I do that, I find that the missing numbers are 5 and 7. Now, that's not going to do anything much for us either. So, again, we won't worry about that. What can we do? Let's look over here. We've got 4 squares empty, and we can work out what each 2 are because we look along the rows here to see what's missing. So in this row, we are missing 1 and 4. Now this time we can place it. We don't have 1, we don't have 4, but when we look down here, we see an intersecting 1. So we know that this square can't be 1. 1 must be here, and now we know the 4 will finish that row. Now we're left with 2 numbers here, which will be 2 and 6. But we can't place them just yet, so again we have to leave that and come back later. If you think I'm finding the numbers pretty quickly about like which ones are missing, that's just kind of experience. And I've got a video coming up very soon. It might even be able to link to it at the end of this video if you in a couple of days, maybe even the end of today, a video which will help you to speed up your seeing of some of these numbers. Hoping to anyway. We have 1s blocking up these 2 columns, and we have 1 blocking across here. So that is going to give me a digit 1 there. Now that 1 that we just put in, we can bring back in this direction, 1 across here and 1 up here. So that gives us a 1 there. And now we have finished with digit 1s because we have a 1 in every one of these small blocks, and that means it's complete because, of course, we have numbers 1 to 9 in each small block. And so once you have 9 of those digits, it's finished, excuse me. Now here's a Sudoku trick of logic that I hope you understand, but if not, you will at some point. There are 2 numbers missing here, and I said before that they are 2 and 3, and I said that we can't say which is which, and that's still true at this stage. We look up here, we look across here, we don't know which is 2, we don't know which is 3, okay? But if I consider this square, now when I look in this column, I notice that there are also, excuse me, that's sweetness stuck in my throat, 2 empty squares in this column. So 2 empty squares in this block, and this one also has 2 empty squares in the column. Excuse me. Now, if this is 2, 3, by logic, this will also have to be 2, 3 because there are only 2 numbers missing, right? Well, now we can find the answer to our conundrum because this time we know that this square can't be a 3. Now, there are only 2 numbers missing, which is 2 and 3. So we know that that has to be 2. And now we know that this is 3, and we know that that is 2. If that was too fast for you, rewind it a little bit and just check things out. Now we have 1 number missing across here, and that missing number is in fact a 3 we can place there. The 3s we can finish off. Now we have a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. In fact, we have 8-digit 3s, and if you find yourself in that situation, you always have enough information to complete the final digit. So now you'll see 3s block across like this. So we get ourselves 3, and 3s are now finished for this particular puzzle. Try to remember that. If you have 8 of a digit, you can always find the 9th. Sometimes I forget to look, though, to be honest with you, when playing the trickier puzzles. Right now, we can say this 2 that we've now placed can affect this block, which we didn't know the answer to before. 2 blocks up here, so that's a 2, and now we can finish this block with a 6. Isn't it good the way that numbers, as soon as we get one in, we are narrowing down our options and making it easier for ourselves. Right, what else is left to do? Let's survey this puzzle and see what I can come up with. Okay, missing numbers. Now we have 2 empty squares here. Now what's missing from this column are 4 and 8. We don't yet have 4 and we don't have 8 in this column. Okay, so 4 and 8 must occupy these 2 squares. Look across here. Hey, there's an 8. Guess what? That can't be 8. That must be 8. That has to be 4. That's done. So now we take that 4 that we just filled in, and then this 4 across here, and we can say, guess what? You're a 4. And then we take that 4 down here, and we get ourselves a 4 here. And now 4s are finished. Now we're going to see that there's an empty square here. Now we can either look across the row, or you can look in the block, but the answer will be the same digit because it has a unique solution, of course. So there is a 2 missing from the row, and there is a 2 missing from the block. And so we know that it has to be a 2. And now there is just one number missing from this column. And that missing number is an 8. So we can place the 8. And 8 is also finished now, as it happens. Right, now there are 2 empty squares in this row. And when we find out what numbers they must be, we see that they are 2 and 7. 2 and 7. So have a quick look. I'll give you a second or two. Which is which? Which is the 2 and which is the 7? Right, okay, so we know for sure that this is not 2. How do we know? We can either see the 2 up here, or we could see the 2 here. In fact, there are 2 2s knocking out this square, both of them eliminating this particular square as being 2. So we know that the 2 must fit here, and now we are left with a 7 to complete the row. Now this 7 here actually blocks up here now, and so we have got ourselves a 7 there. Then the 7 comes across here like this, and a 7 up. So that's not a drink with artificial sweetener or not. 7 goes here, and the final digit here will be 5. Now this 5 that we just filled in blocks across here, and so we get our 5 in that square. And the last number to get here is a 6. 6 goes back in that direction. That gives us a 6 there. This is a 9 now. 9 blocks across here. That gives us a 9 here. You see how we're using the numbers that we just placed now across this row or down this column or in this block. 3 different ways to find this number, but whichever way you look, it's got to be a 2. Now we have only 2 numbers left down here. We are still looking for 2 and we're looking for 6. Now we can say the 2 blocks down here, so that will be a 2. Or we could have said the 6 blocks down here, and that will be a 6. Both are possibilities that lead to the same solution. And that's it for the Guardian beginner level puzzle today on Monday. Come back every Monday, but you don't need to come back next Monday. You can go back in time on YouTube and look at previous Mondays, as I said. Check out the playlist. That's it from me, and if you want to go forward, check out the more difficult puzzles as well. There are all levels on this channel. Bye-bye.